dancers. Have the men on the left and the women on the right hand side of the carpet. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
I'm actually going to do 60. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to today's class. We'll start by singing a little song by Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, glorifying Krishna and Vrindavan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana
Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki So again, welcome everyone. It's nice to see such a big crowd here from all over North America. Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna. Better? So welcome everyone. It's nice to see just so many radiant devotees here. Before I start speaking, I'd like to ask the blessings of many senior devotees present in the room. One of the great blessings of coming to New Vrindavan Dham is that there's so many senior devotees, disciples of Srila Prabhupada and Brajvasis who have dedicated their lives to serving Sri Sri Radha Vrindavan Chandra and Srila Prabhupada and devotees here in the Dham. So, today we're going to be reading from the 9th canto, chapter 4. This is Ambarish Maharaj offended by Durvasa Muni. And those of you who were here on Friday morning and attended the Alone with Krishna session, you're already familiar with this because I gave you a little reading pamphlet that was on this section. So you have a little head start in understanding this pastime. And we'll dive deeper into it now. So we're going to recite together text 63. So this starts with Krishna, the Lord, speaking, and he's speaking to Durvasa Muni. So just a little bit of background. Durvasa Muni, he went to visit a devotee named Ambarish Maharaj for lunch. And Ambarish Maharaj had been fasting. He'd been doing this actually year-long fast. Not that he wasn't eating anything, but he was doing like an Ekadasi vrat, like a 3-day Ekadasi vrat for the whole year. And he was just about, now this was the Dwadashi at the end of the year, last Dwadashi in the month of Kartik, and he was in Vrindavan, and so this all took place in Vrindavan Dham, and he was just about to break his fast when along came Durvasa Muni. So then Maharaj Ambarish, he said, "Oh, welcome, great sage, to my home. Please, have a seat, drink water, take prasadam." But Durvasa Muni, he said, "Oh, let me go and take my bath first in the river and perform my, midday pollution, chant my Gayatri, all that, and I'll come back just soon after." So he took a lot longer than expected, and there's a specific window of time, it's called the Paran time, where you have to break the fast. They say that if you break it at another time, you don't get the full benefits of the fast. So, Ambarish had been doing this for a year, together with his wife too, and they were very eager to break the fast and, consummate the vow. And it was coming to the last minute, and he's just like, what do we do? He hasn't showed up. I can't eat before our esteemed guest. And so he consulted the Brahmins, and the Brahmins were kind of like, they didn't want to say yes or no, because they didn't want to get in trouble, because everyone knows the temper of Durvasa Muni. He's famous all over the universe for having a very short fuse. And if you do something to rub him the wrong way, then he curses you, and it's a very bad curse usually. So they were kind of like, And then from within his heart, Ambarish Maharaj, because he's a devotee, he was inspired by the Lord with intelligence to understand what to do. And so he realized, okay, I'll just drink a little bit of water, because water breaks a fast and doesn't break a fast. So I won't have broken the fast, but I'll get the benefit of my vrat, but also I won't have really broken the fast because I haven't eaten anything, and so I can serve my guest first. So then he took just a few drops of water, just for the sake of breaking, and then he prepared to receive Durvasa. So then right after Durvasa Muni comes back, and he understands by his mystic potencies that Ambarish had taken something. And he said, basically, he was like, "You scoundrel, how dare you eat before me? Is this your hospitality? That when a guest comes for lunch, you sit down and eat your meal before the guest? Like, what is that? That's not etiquette. Only an ignorant person would do such a thing." And he said, because you're acting just like an ignorant person, in fact, because you're acting practically like a demon, being so selfish and self-centered and just acting for your sense gratification, then, he said, you're not even fit to live. And so he took a hair out of his head,
and he threw it on the ground, and then this huge demon, this huge like fiery demon manifested all of a sudden, and he started charging towards Ambarish Maharaj to kill him. So that was like pretty heavy. And Ambarish Maharaj, he was just standing there, and he wasn't at all afraid. He was just like, Hare Krishna. He was just like meditating on Krishna. And then the Lord, so Lord Vishnu, because he knows everything, he kind of knew something like this might happen in the future to his dear devotee Ambarish. Ambarish Maharaj was a king, but he was a pure devotee. And that was another reason that Durvasa Muni felt like entitled to react the way he did, was because Durvasa was a Brahmin and Ambarish was a Kshatriya, so he figured this, I'm superior to him. Not only am I sage, not only am I a guest, who's supposed to be received like the Lord, uninvited guest is like the representative of the Lord, but I'm a Brahmin, he's a lowly Kshatriya. So, Krishna left his Sudarshan chakra. He just left it there in safekeeping in the Ambarish Maharaj's closet. And then when the Sudarshan chakra, because Sudarshan chakra is not just a weapon, he's a personality. He's also a devotee, he's an animate. So he could understand the situation, and he thought, the Lord has left me here to protect my devotee, so I am going to protect his devotee. And so he started chasing after, well, first of all, he just killed the demon. The demon was demolished. And then he started charging after Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni started running for his life. He's running all over the universe and he couldn't outrun the Sudarshan chakra. It was like burning his back, blazing behind him. And then he goes to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva's like, I'm sorry, this is Lord Vishnu's weapon. He's superior to me. If he has let it go, then there's nothing I can do to retract it. And then he goes to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma says the same thing. He says, I suggest you go to Lord Vishnu. He says, Lord Vishnu's weapon, Lord Vishnu can solve the problem. Only he can do it. So then Durvasa Muni goes up to Lord Vishnu, and he asks him, he says, well, this is from text 62, "O my Lord, O Supreme Controller, without knowledge of your unlimited prowess, I have offended your most dear devotee. Very kindly save me from the reaction of this offense. You can do everything, for even if a person is fit to going to hell, you can deliver him simply by awakening within his heart the holy name of your Lordship." So this is his appeal to the Lord, and now Lord Vishnu is going to speak. And so these words of Lord Vishnu in this section are very, very sweet. In this section, he's declaring his love for his devotees. So we're going to read text 63 together. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Aham Bhakta Paradino Yasvatantra Iva Dvija Sadhu Virgrasta Hridayo Bhakta Jana Priyaha Shri Bhagavan Vacha Aham Bhakta Paradino Yasvatantra Iva Dvija Sadhu Virgrasta Hridayo Bhakta Jana Priyaha. Please chant.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha Aham Bhakta Paradino Tantra Iva Sadhu Virgrasta Hridayo Bhakta Jana Priyaha. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Aham Bhakta Paradino Yasvatantra Iva Dvija Sadhu Virgrasta Hridayo Bhakta Jana Priyaha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Aham Bhakta Paradino Yas Vatantra Iva Dvija Sadhu Virgrasta Hridayo Bhaktir Bhakta Janapriya.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Aham Bhakta Paradino. Yasatantra Ivadija. Sadhuvir Krasta Vidayo. Bhaktir Bhakta Janapriya.
Let's do the word for word. We do this all together, please.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Aham, I, Bhakta Paradina, am dependent on the will of my devotees. He, indeed, Asvatantra, am not independent. Jiva is exactly like that. Dvija, O Brahmana, Sadhvi, by pure devotees completely free from all material desires. Grasta Vidaya, my heart is controlled. Bhakti, because they are devotees. Bhakta Janapriya, I am dependent not only on my devotee, but also on my devotee's devotee. The devotee's devotee is extremely dear to me.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said to the Brahman, I am completely under the control of my devotees. Indeed, I am not at all independent. Because my devotees are completely devoid of material desires, I sit only within the cores of their hearts. But to speak of my devotee, even those who are devotees of my devotee are very dear to me. Purport. All the great stalwart personalities in the universe, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, are fully under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is fully under the control of his devotee. Why is this? Because the devotee is anya vilashita shunya. In other words, he has no material desires in his heart. His only desire is to think always of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to serve him best. Because of this transcendental qualification, the Supreme Lord is extremely favorable to the devotees. Indeed, not only the devotees, but also the devotees of the devotees. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payeche Keva. Without being a devotee of a devotee, one cannot be released from material entanglement. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu identified himself as Gopi Bhartu Padakamalyor Das Das Anudas. Thus he instructed us to become not directly servants of Krishna, but servants of the servants of Krishna. Devotees like Rama, Narada, Vyasadeva, and Shukadeva Goswami are directly servants of Krishna. And one who becomes a servant of Narada, Vyasadeva, and Shukadeva, like the 6 Goswamis, is still more devoted. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur therefore says, Yasya prasada bhagavat prasada. If one very sincerely serves the spiritual master, Krishna certainly becomes favorable to such a devotee. Following the instructions of a devotee is more valuable than following the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kalamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Srinivasa, you don't understand. You don't understand my relationship with my devotees. The Lord is equal to everyone. He says that in Bhagavad Gita. Samoham sarvabhuteshu nami dvesho stina priyaha. He says, I see everyone equally. No one is especially dear to me. I'm not envious of anyone. It's not that I like this person, I don't like this person. I like everyone equally. Then he says, Ye bhajante tu mam bhaktya mai teteshu chapyaham. So the word tu means but. I'm equal to everyone, but. Ye bhajanti, those who worship me, my bhaktas. For them, mai teteshu chapyaham. They are in me, and I am also in them. They are my friends, and I'm also friends to them. So, Krishna is indicating that his devotees hold a very, very special place in his heart, and that's what we're seeing here. So Krishna, it's not that he's partial, but he reciprocates accordingly. I mean, he says that ye yata mam prapadyante tam stitaiva bhajamyaham. Mama vartmanu vartante manushya varta sarvashaha. That as everyone surrenders unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone's following my path in all respects, so everyone in some way is coming closer to me. Gradually, so Krishna's here, either the person's going directly closer to him, or the person's going this way first, or they're going this way. Everyone's going to Krishna. Either directly, indirectly, the shortcut, the long way around, the direct route, the scenic route, but everyone's on their way to Krishna. But because the devotees are intentionally, consciously on the way to Krishna, and they want to make advancement towards Krishna, then Krishna gives them special attention. He gives them special help and special favor. And so he reciprocates. And Krishna says, as they surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. So it sounds like, as much as we give, he gives back. But it's not totally accurate. Because we take one step towards Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada says Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. We give a little bit to Krishna, and Krishna gives so much back. Right? Like some examples from Shastra are that Aboriginal woman who came with her fruit basket. So she came to the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, and little baby Krishna came out. He's like, oh, there's a lady here selling fruits. Let's get some fruits. So they used to use the barter system back then, so he's imitating what his parents would do. They would bring grains, and they would give grains to people like that, and then they would take fruits in equal value. They would give equal value of grains to the fruits, and they would get all the things that they needed. Everyone had all the necessities of life that way. So little Krishna, he was just a small toddler. He was like 2 or 3 years old. So he had his little, his chubby little hands. And so he goes in to get some grains, and he's got a handful of grains, but it's like, how much can a 2-year-old hold in their hand? So he's got like a little tiny little palm full of grains that you could probably count, easily. And then he's going there, and he's, wobbling along in his little feet, and he's dropping grains on the way. By the time he gets to there's maybe 5-6 grains of rice in his hand, and but very sweetly he gives them to the fruit lady in exchange for the fruits. And then she's so enamored by Krishna's beauty and charmed by his sweetness that she just loads him up. She empties out her whole basket, gives all the fruits to Krishna. And she's not thinking, what am I going to do? This is how I earn a living. How am I going to feed my family if I just, get this much rice? What's my husband going to say when I come home with only this? After giving all my fruits away, with nothing else to use for exchange. So she's not thinking like that at all. She's just thinking, this boy is so beautiful, he's so wonderful, I want to give everything to him. That's what Krishna's beauty and sweetness and charm evokes naturally from the soul. It's just full surrender, because that's our nature. So this was in Vrindavan, and she had that Braj mood of giving everything to Krishna. And so then Krishna took all the fruits, and he was walking back to the house, and she was just watching him, his delicate little steps, and his curly hair swinging, behind as he's going to and fro, and he goes to the door, and then she doesn't see him anymore, and then she turns around and she sees her basket, and it's full of jewels. It's full of the most valuable jewels, diamonds and rubies and emeralds and sapphires. And she's just like, wow, So that's one example. You give little to Krishna, and he gives you way more than you ever expected. And then another example is Sudan Brahman. When he went to visit Krishna in Dwarka, he was very impoverished. He had nothing. He didn't even have anything in his house to bring for Krishna. And so he had to go to the neighbor's house and beg some rice. So they gave him just this little pouch of broken, not even good quality rice. And so he gave Krishna that rice. And then he went there with the intention of, his wife had sent him, go ask some wealth from Krishna. We're practically starving. We don't have food to feed the children. We don't have clothes to wear. Your friend is so wealthy. He's living there as king of Dwarka. He's got so many palaces. He'll give us something so we can, survive. When he went to see Krishna, he was so happy just to be with Krishna. And again, he couldn't bring himself to ask something from Krishna. He was just so satisfied just being with Krishna. Just having loving exchanges with Krishna, that was just the perfection of his existence. And so he just left, and he was walking away thinking, oh, Krishna's so nice. What he did, I can't believe it. He washed my feet. He sat me on his own bed, and he fed me with his own hand, and he embraced me. What a great friend. What a wonderful person. He was all the way home. He's just like in ecstasy, just like thinking of the exchanges they just had. And then he turns the corner into his home, on his street, and he sees he's looking for his house, and he's like, what happened here? Well, where's my hut? He can't find it. And then he's like, his wife comes running out. She's like, Prabhu, Prabhu. And he's like, what happened here? She's like, our hut just turned into this amazing mansion, this like palatial mansion, and she was dressed with most the finest silks, and the children too, and jewelry and gold, and he's like, wow, Krishna's amazing. I just gave him that broken rice, and look what he gave us. So Krishna actually gives more. And here we're just talking about material things, giving some fruits, giving some rice. What to speak of giving our love? What to speak of giving our hearts, giving our energy in service to Krishna, giving our talents, our skills, giving our attention. Right? Sometimes that's the most valuable thing that we can give is our attention. So all of you now, you're giving your attention to the topics of Krishna. And Krishna's becoming 10 times more attentive to you right now because you're being attentive to hearing about him. And, when it comes to love, our capacity to love is really so small. Right? Like we were hearing last night from Kumari and Rajananda that we're small. We're so small. So our capacity to love is so small. Our capacity to serve is so small. We're just 1/10,000th the size of the tip of a hair. We're practically atomic, smaller than an atom in size. And our capacity to love Krishna, even if we're totally pure and our love is totally bloomed, we're in the level of Krishna prema, still the amount of love that we can offer to Krishna is small compared to the amount of love that Krishna can offer us. And that's why Krishna wants to become a devotee. He actually sees that the position of the devotee is greater than his own position. And he's thinking, I want to feel what it's like to be loved by me. I want to experience what it's like to be attracted by my beauty. I want to relish the joy of serving me, that my devotees relish, because I can't relish that. I can't feel how I love them. I can't feel what it's like to be the recipient of that love. So then he takes the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya takes the mood of Srimati Radharani, who's the greatest devotee, who's the one who's relishing the most bliss from that loving Krishna. So the position of the devotee is so highly esteemed that even Krishna, he's thinking, I want that. And that's the opportunity that we have. We have this opportunity to be devotees. And so everyone here is very intelligent, the most intelligent people in the whole universe, sitting right here, because you're all on the path of devotion. You're all on the bhakti marg, practicing devotional service, trying to love Krishna, trying to offer service to Krishna. So this is a very, very glorious thing. There are different kinds of people that approach Krishna. Right? He says in Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Vida Bhajante Mam, Jana Sukriti Norjuna, Arto Artarti Jigyasu, Jnani Cha Bharatarshava. That a person in distress, a person who's desiring wealth, a person who is inquisitive, and a person who just wants to know God. So we heard about these yesterday. And Krishna reciprocates with them also in the same way. So if someone wants wealth or riches or material facilities, then Krishna will give that. But he doesn't only give that, he gives more, right? He always gives more. And so what does he give in addition to fulfilling the material desires? He purifies the heart. He actually removes the material desires and causes them to be attracted to him. So for any reason that we approach Krishna, if we approach him in distress, he'll solve our problems, he'll free us from distress, he'll make us happy, and he'll also purify that mode of ignorance that put us into the cycle of lamentation, and he'll awaken attraction to him again. So whoever approaches him for any reason, he will purify. But then of the four kinds of people, he says the jnani is the best. The person who doesn't want anything from me, but just wants to know me. He says that person is the best. And he says that the person who, he says that even better, in chapter 6 he says, even better than the jnani is a yogi. Right? He says, in 646 he says, better than the, he says, better than the ascetic is the empiricist, or the jnani, person who's seeking knowledge. And then better than the jnani is a yogi. So then he says, Tasmad Yogina Arjuna. He says, therefore Arjuna, become a yogi, be a yogi. And then he says, but of all yogis, of all the different types of yogis, the bhakti yogi is the best. Right? Yogi nam api sarvesham, madgatenanta atmana, shadavan vajite yomam, same yukta tamoit pantaha. Says that this person who has faith, shraddha, and who worships me with faith, bhajante. So it's that word again, bhajante. So shraddha means, you can break it up etymologically. Shra means the heart, and dha means to place or to hold. So to have faith, or shraddha, means to literally hold that thing in your heart. To put your heart in something, to trust it so much that you'll just offer your heart to the person. So when we have that kind of faith in Krishna, we offer our hearts to Krishna, and with our full hearts, wholeheartedly serve Krishna. Shraddha, Shraddhavan Bhajate Yomam. Then we become very, very dear to Krishna. So we become most intimately united. Yukta Tamaha. So Yukta means connected or linked, and Tama means most. It's like EST in Sanskrit. Yukta is the Yukta est. The most intimately united, we become the most intimately united with Krishna. And the devotee is the highest of all. So yeah, this word bhaj, this Sanskrit root bhaj, is sometimes translated as worship or to serve with devotion. Another meaning of bhaj is to share. So interesting thing, the way that this word is used in the scriptures, is sometimes it's said that we bhaj Krishna, and sometimes Krishna bhajes us. So what we're seeing here is that Krishna reciprocates, right? We try to love Krishna, Krishna loves us. We serve Krishna, Krishna serves his devotees. We surrender to Krishna, say, Krishna, just take charge of my life, just take the reins, control me, make me act according to your will, make me your instrument. And Krishna says to his devotee, Krishna says, no, I'm controlled by my pure devotees. I don't make decisions without them. So, yeah, some examples of the way this word is brought. One is, so, for example, when in the morning at greeting of the deities we say, Govindam Adipurisham Tama Aham Bhajami, right? So, Tam Aham Bhajami means that I worship you, Govinda. But then Govinda, in the verse that we quoted, 4:11, he says, Ye yatam mam prapadyante, tam stataiva bhajami aham. So he's saying, tam bhajami aham. So we're saying, tam aham bhajami, and Krishna's saying, tam bhajami aham. It's the same thing. So we're saying, Govinda, So if we translate Bhaj as share, like Krishna, I want to share my life with you. I'm done trying to enjoy myself independently of you. Now I want to live for you. I want to enjoy with you, not separately from you. I want to share my life with you. I want to share my heart with you. Everything that I do, I want to do for you and with you. And then Krishna, he feels the same way. But for that person who has that sentiment towards Krishna, that pure devotional sentiment towards Krishna, he says, I also want to share my life with you. I also want to enjoy with you. I want you to be a part of my pastimes. And that's what it says here in the next verse of this text, text 64. Krishna says, O best of the Brahmanas, without saintly persons, for whom I am the only destination, I do not desire to enjoy my transcendental bliss and my supreme opulences. Krishna says, I can't even have a good time without my devotees. I'm the supreme enjoyer, but I don't enjoy without my devotees. Like, my devotees are so dear to me. I'm so dependent on them. My enjoyment, my whole position as a supreme enjoyer depends on them. I can't enjoy without my devotees. And Prabhupada elaborates that in the purport. He says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient, but to enjoy his transcendental bliss, he requires the cooperation of his devotees. In Vrindavan, although Krishna is full in himself, he wants the cooperation of his devotees, like the cowherd boys and the gopis, to increase his transcendental bliss. And then he goes on to say that because Krishna is unlimited, he wants to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. And because that bliss depends on his devotees, he needs unlimited devotees. And so he comes to this world to try to make more and more devotees, to try to make all the conditioned souls come back to be his devotees so that he can enjoy more and they can enjoy with him. And that's why Prabhupada writes, this Krishna consciousness movement is an attempt to increase the number of pure devotees of the Supreme Lord more and more. It is certain that a devotee who helps in this endeavor to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes indirectly a controller of the Supreme Lord. So anybody who tries to make other people devotees, who tries to bring conditioned souls to Krishna consciousness, so that they can contribute to Krishna's enjoyment and serve him in that way, then that person becomes very, very dear to Krishna and becomes, Prabhupada writes, indirectly a controller of the Supreme Lord. So that's what we're hearing about, the exalted position of the devotee. So, yeah. There's so many ways that Krishna, when we serve him, he tries to serve us. What are some ways that you can think of that Krishna serves his devotees in Shastra or in your life or in Srila Prabhupada's life, Jonathan?
He drove the chariot for Arjuna.
He drove Arjuna's chariot. He became Parthasarthi. He's famous as the chariot driver. Yes?
He provides us all with really good prasadam.
Yes, prasadam every day. Woo! What would we do without it? Lisa?
When we chant, he comes before us, present, and he also enters the deity by the devotee's desire.
Yeah, he gives, the devotee just, when the pure devotee says, Krishna, please enter this sculpted, wood or marble form, Krishna's like, okay. I'm here.
He washed everyone's feet at Rajasuya Yagya.
Yeah, he was literally washing all the guests' feet to serve Maharaj Yudhisthira, doing that menial service. What's that? He sent Srila Prabhupada to do what? To round us all up, yeah. To indirectly serve all of us, to serve Krishna by serving all of us, by giving us Krishna consciousness, so that bring us back home, back to Godhead. Herding up the stray cows and calves who bring material world, being a transcendental cowherd boy for Krishna. Yeah, so Krishna is very, very kind. And so for pious people, they see Krishna as the supreme controller. Durvasa Muni is saying, oh, supreme controller. But from Krishna's point of view, he says, no. You're thinking I'm independent. And some places in scripture it says that, right? Janmadhyasya yaton vaya itaratas charteshva vidya swarat. The Supreme Lord, that's the first verse from Bhagavatam, says that the Lord is completely independent. But here Krishna is saying, no. I'm a swarat. I'm asvatantra. I'm not at all independent. And he says, this is going back to the Sanskrit text, 63. I'm bhakta paradina. I'm totally dependent on my devotees. And in fact, my devotees, he says, sadhavya grasta hridaya. So, Prabhupada translates this, the devotees control, it says, I sit in the core of the devotees' hearts. Grasta actually means, the Sanskrit word grasta means like to grab. It literally means the devotees grab my heart. It means to seize, to possess, to take possession of. The devotees hold my heart in their hands, basically, he's saying. And the Acharyas comment in the section that when a devotee wants Krishna to be merciful to someone, Krishna gives his mercy. So the devotees, the way that devotees control Krishna, because devotees don't ask anything material from Krishna. They don't need material comforts, or they have Krishna. You know, the devotee has Krishna. What else do they need? Krishna's everything. But you know, like Prahlad Maharaj, he says, for myself, I don't really need to ask. I have nothing. You know, I'm good, totally, completely satisfied. But my only concern is for these poor, suffering souls who have turned away from you, who have forgotten you. It's for them. I'm feeling for them, out of compassion for them. And so if you want to do something for me, just please help them. Please bring them back to you. Please remove the lust and greed and envy from their hearts and reawaken their dormant love. So, devotees can control Krishna by deciding or determining who will be the recipients of Krishna's mercy. So if you go to Krishna and say, Krishna, please be merciful, Krishna's like, But if you go to a devotee and you please the devotee, and then, you know, by your service and your submission and your attentive hearing and your respectful, humble attitude, you melt the heart of that devotee, then the devotee is going to pray for you. Oh, Krishna, this devotee is serving so nicely. They're so sincere. They're so humble. They're trying so hard. You know, they have many impediments. They have many obstacles. They're struggling. Please be merciful. Please be merciful in the soul. Then Krishna's like, yes, of course. Anything for you, my dear devotee. So that's the way to get Krishna's mercy, is that to serve. That's why Vaishnava Seva is so important. And that's what Prabhupada is emphasizing this purport, that nobody's making advancement without serving a devotee. Because Krishna doesn't respond if we just approach him directly. He responds when we get the mercy of a devotee, and when a devotee decides to be compassionate to us. So we need to beg at the lotus feet of devotees for their mercy, for their compassion, so that we can actually have a relationship with Krishna. And then on the other side, we have to be very, very careful not to offend a devotee, because that's what Devasa did, right? He's getting chased out all over the universe by the Sudarshan Chakra. And there's another verse in this section, text 68, which is very famous. I'll just say the Sanskrit because it's so beautiful. Sadhava vidayam mahayam, sadhunam vidayam taham, varanyatte na jananti, nam tebhyo managapi. Krishna says, the pure devotee is always within the core of my heart, and I am always in the heart of my pure devotee. My devotees do not know anything else but me, and I do not know anything else but them. So he's telling this to Durvasa, and Prabhupada's saying, Durvasa wanted to chastise Ambarish. And so Krishna's saying, you know, you wanted to hurt my devotee, but I'm in the heart of my devotee, and my devotee's in my heart. So if you, by giving pain to my devotee, you've given pain to my heart. And you're thinking, you're appealing to me to be merciful to you, but how can I be your friend when you are inimical towards my devotee? There's no chance. He says, it's my devotee that decides who I'm going to be friendly with, who I'm going to be merciful to. So, Yasya prasada, Bhagavat prasada, Yasya prasada nagati kutopi. That the mercy, by his mercy, by the mercy of the devotee, we get the mercy of Krishna. And without the mercy of the devotee, nagati kutopi, we're not going to attain the goal of going back to Godhead, of attaining Krishna Prema, of attaining pure devotional service. So he's saying that, Durvasa, you want me to deliver you, but this is not the way to do it. If you want to be delivered, you need to follow the process that was given by my devotee. And there's a nice verse that, again, this is another way that the devotee controls Krishna. It's not just controlling who Krishna will be merciful to, but for defining the method by which the soul goes back to Godhead. So we see the different acharyas over history. They have different methods, different processes of devotional service. So Srila Prabhupada, our founder acharya, he gave us 16 rounds of japa, attentive japa, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day, following the 4 regular principles, doing practical services for within your temple community, being a member of ISKCON. And by following Srila Prabhupada's method, then it's guaranteed that we're going back to Godhead. And there's a verse in the 10th canto that says this. It's 10 to 31. You can go there if you want. It basically says that whatever method the acharya prescribes for souls to cross the ocean of birth and death, then the Lord, this is the Lord speaking, he says, I accept that process. So whatever method the acharya gives, I accept that method, and I reward the full results to anyone who follows that method. So we shouldn't think that, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, if you don't chant 64 rounds a day, you're in Maya, or you can't make advancement or something. That was true. He said it, so that's true for his follower. That's the method he gave, so who follows that method gets the full result of following that method. And our Acharya Srila Prabhupada gave a different method. If we follow that method, and Krishna accepts the method given by the Acharya. So we just need to, like they say, hold on to Srila Prabhupada's dhoti. Hold on to Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. No matter what happens, don't leave. Just follow this method he's given us and put faith in the process, and everything's going to be perfect. And Krishna says, I do this to please my devotees. Because Prabhupada wanted to deliver the souls, he made it easy so that we actually could do it. So Krishna, to please Srila Prabhupada, he said, okay, I accept this. This is a little. This is like a little. It's kind of like, maybe not enough. But it's okay, I accept it. Because you've proposed it, and you're so dear to me that I'll just do whatever you ask. So by the grace of Srila Prabhupada's intimate relationship with Krishna, we have this very simple process, 4 regs, 16 rounds, devotional service, hearing Bhagavatam, and we can go back to Godhead in this lifetime. So yeah, Krishna wants to please his pure devotees. Pure devotees want to please Krishna. No other material desire. And so I wanted to say a few other things, but I'll stop here because time is short. And yes, Jai. So thank you. I'll take some questions. Continue.
Thank you. I was wondering, especially, it's always like that, but especially in this age, like our conditioning is so intense and we're super entangled, and like our anarthas, greed, envy, lust, all these things are also like stronger than our intelligence most of the time. And so how are we supposed to not make offenses? I feel like it's inevitable that we're going to hurt each other.
Yeah, it's difficult. So the thing is that, Durvasa Muni, he made this offense. So then ultimately what the Lord tells Durvasa is that, you've offended my devotee, I can't protect you. Yeah, it's my chakra, but I'm controlled by my devotee, so I don't have the authority to even call off the chakra from burning you up. The only thing that I can do is recommend that you go back to Ambarish Maharaj, straight all the way back down to earth, get your obeisances at the lotus feet of Ambarish Maharaj and beg his forgiveness. And then you'll be relieved of this scorching rays of the Sudarshan chakra. So that's what Durvasa Muni does. He goes there, and Ambarish Maharaj, he's like, of course, no problem. He didn't even take offense. So pure devotee is so exalted. He wasn't even bothered by the whole demon coming to kill you kind of thing. He was like, it's cool, I'm good. I know Krishna is going to protect me. And he wasn't even flinch. He literally didn't flinch. There wasn't even a tinge of fear in his heart. And in fact, he was feeling ashamed of himself because it took a whole year. This thing of Durvasa trying to get free from the student, it took a whole year. And for that year, Ambarish Maharaj was just lamenting his inability to serve his guest. He's like, oh my God, this whole thing, all this time, Durvasa is still hungry. He hasn't even eaten yet. His meal is still waiting. I said, Durvasa, what are you talking about? Forgive me. Forget it. No, just, you came here to take lunch. Please eat. Forgive me for the delay. Forgive me for keeping you hungry for this whole year. And then he, with his own hands, he served Durvasa Muni Prasadam. And then he broke his fast only afterwards, after Durvasa was, eaten to his full satisfaction. So if we offend the devotee, then we need to also follow in the footsteps of Durvasa Muni in taking the good advice of the Lord and approaching that devotee with all humility and begging their pardon. And, trying to serve them, doing whatever it takes to get them to forgive us. Yeah. And we can't just pray, dear Krishna, please let that devotee forgive me. We have to go to the devotee directly, personally, with a straw between our teeth and be like, Hare Krishna Prabhu, I'm really sorry, I messed up. And say exactly, help them make sure that they understand that we understand what we did wrong, because that's for our benefit. That we're able to say, I did this, and then, no, it's okay. No, it's not okay. I actually shouldn't have done that, and even if you didn't take offense, my behavior was offensive. So please forgive me. Bring them some gift, do some service, right? And get the mercy of that devotee. Okay? So it's inevitable, so it's good, it helps us to become humble. And usually when we do that, our relationship with that devotee becomes stronger and sweeter. Because Krishna is pleased.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
I really enjoyed this class, and I am aspiring to serve the devotees. I wondered if maybe you went into detail about begging for the mercy of the devotees, but I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about how I or we can be more merciful to each other.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. One thing is that, we may or may not be pure devotees, but we're all on the path of pure devotional service, right? Even if we still have some anarthas or some material desires, but we're trying not to fuel the fire of those material desires. We're not feeding our anarthas, we're trying to get purified from those. So, Krishna is also very appreciative. He's very grateful to the service that we render, even in our impure state. And so, he says he's controlled by his pure devotees, which is a good thing, because, if we have material desires, we wouldn't want to control Krishna and make us fulfill our material desires and keep us in this material world. But to the extent that we're actually trying to advance in spiritual life, and if our desires are pure, then we can also pray for people. We can serve devotees by praying for them. Please help this devotee to become fixed in their service, help them to focus on the holy name, help them to get a taste for reading Srila Prabhupada's books, for distributing Prabhupada's books, help them to keep strong and resist Maya, help them to have nice relationships with devotees. We can pray for other devotees like that too. And that will help Krishna's mercy, the flow of Krishna's mercy to flow in their direction. Ajay Krishna shared this wonderful little video. It was a scientific study that was done about the power of prayer. And the essence of it was that they were studying what happens in the brain of people who are being prayed for. Right? Well, that's what I'm talking about. So if somebody's praying for you, they study people that were in hospital and things with a disease or, at the end of their life or something. And so they're measuring so if somebody even a far distance away, in another country, is praying for that person, then something happens in the brain of that person that can be measured scientifically. there's like a change in the electromagnetic field. So basically what's happening, of course scientists don't know exactly what's happening, but we can have a little additional insight, is that the Lord is doing something. The Lord's mercy is coming into the heart and mind and being of that person, and it's causing a shift in the way that person thinks and feels, and the consciousness of that person is being uplifted by the mercy of the Lord, being steered in that person's direction by someone's prayers. So, yeah. At whatever, and those prayers aren't necessarily from a pure devotee. They're just like an average person, like a family member. They, may just be, eating. But they're praying, they're appealing to the Lord, and the prayers are powerful. What to speak of the prayers of the devotee? What to speak of the prayers of a pure devotee? So in addition to doing practical service for devotees, like assisting them with their services, helping them in different ways, whatever we can, but praying is a very powerful way that we can help devotees and attract the Lord's mercy to go to devotees, and we should do more of that. Is that helpful? Yes. And the thing is, anyone can do that at any time, and you can just constantly do it. You don't need any materials. You can just be in any situation, and you can be praying for devotees. Yes, good.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for the class. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I have a question about our discernment in service, or if discernment in service should even be a thing. I hear a lot about serving the devotees, and I know that the highest, most pure devotee views every jiva as the Lord's devotee in some capacity. And I was wondering if you could elaborate on that. Is it okay if my service goes to people who don't know that they're devotees yet? When the highest devotee views everyone as a devotee, are they seeing potential, or are they seeing that they are actively a devotee? I guess I'm just curious on how the highest devotee uses that discernment and how I could get there.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, so we want to serve everyone. We serve everyone. Das, and das, right? But we serve different people differently, and that's where the discernment comes in. So, we serve senior devotees by, offering practical services, assisting them, and doing personal service, or serving their instruction, or hearing from them is also a big service. A very important way to serve senior devotees is to just listen to what they have to say. It's actually very pleasing. Right? Like anyone who's giving class, it's like nice when you've got a room full of people and they're all listening attentively and engaging with what you're saying. It's very pleasing. So, to hear from devotees, and hearing Shravanam is like the seed of all services. From that service, all the other services expand. So, serve senior devotees like in those ways. And then the way we serve equals is by being their friends, right? Just being friendly with them. Just, coming up to them, putting your arm around them. Hey, how you doing? How's it going? Let's go for a little walk. Let's catch up. Or, are you struggling with this? You want to talk about it? Can I help you? Whatever, just serving them in friendly ways. Let's do a kirtan together. Let's sit down and read together. In Krishna consciousness, serve each other and support each other in Krishna consciousness in sweet, friendly, personal ways. And then those who are junior to us, we serve them by being compassionate, and giving them Krishna consciousness, explaining things for them. When we see a new person come to the temple, they're totally lost and dazed and confused, helping to orient them, like this is what you sometimes the people will be at Tulsi Puja and they'll just be like not knowing what to do with that drop of water in their hand, like sipping it, putting it on their head, throwing it over the shoulder. It's like, just put that little towel there and then feel this. So, just guiding, instructing, explaining, just being kind, giving them prasadam, showing them, how to practice bhakti. Doing a little reading sangha with new people to share your realizations, because whatever you know is probably more than what they know. Right? So just sharing whatever you can with them to help uplift them. So that's the discernment. But we serve everyone. And then people who are completely non-devotees, not even interested in going to the temple or whatever, then we go out. Right? We go the extra mile and get out of our comfort zones and serve them by giving them the holy name, giving them books, giving them prasadam, giving them a chance to connect to Krishna. And the people who are totally envious and inimical towards devotees in Krishna, we serve them by keeping a distance, so that we protect them from making offenses. And that's our service to them. Okay, I'm getting the watch tap, so we'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the services that you do. Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Hari Hari. Jai.